Hello, and welcome to the Paper Thing Season 6, Episode 15, as we are promised again that the Sue Gray report will be out later this afternoon. Let's see if that happens. Today's episode, Gray It Ain't So. In terms of one of the big stories today is now about an active criminal case. So we, including the front page of The Sun here, so we won't be... I won't be reading out comments on that story from the chat, should anyone comment on that. And I'll be moving over that story pretty quickly. It's a pretty grim one anyway. So, on the front page of The Sun, top right, starts today. Dr. Zoe, ask her your health questions. On the left, China's spies in Philip charity, a charity set up by the late Prince Philip. Prince Philip's dead, has been infiltrated by Chinese spies, apparently. And in the bottom, left-hand corner, Adele love battle. And of course, the main story, social media shock, Man United ace, Sun doing that again, ace, arrested for rape. Club suspend £50 million Greenwood. Zoe brings bacon. Philip's dead. When did that happen? Good afternoon to you, Panic Future. How are you doing? Hi, Burnzoid. I did have a good birthday. Thank you very much. Now back to trying to break the writer's block. Geds is raiding with a party of 16. Thank you, Geds. Hello to you. Raid. Hey, I've got some LT. Thank you for resubscribing, Battle Whisk. 4 months. Thank you very much. Hi, Fluff Weasel. Hey, SK. Use of Weapons. Hey, The Research Arena. Hello, Struggle Ruffian. Lots of excellent Geds emotes in the chat. The Ann Diamond video on GB News broke my brain. So C122, H122. Alright, me old China, I'm Winston Churchill, says Mark Canosis. I was thinking about writing about that for the newsletter, and then I just thought, what can I add to this that is, that matches the ridiculousness. Anyway, and I said at the start of the stream, but some people will probably miss, this Greenwood story, is obviously covered in a lot of the papers. It's now an active legal, an active criminal investigation, so I'm going to tread very lightly around that story. Right. Inside the paper, on page 3, that isn't page 3, but is page 3, model Giselle shows half her front as her quarterback hubby considers quitting American football for after 22 seasons. Half her front, Jesus Christ. Also on that page, exclusive, the only way to the moon is Essex, Chelmsford space pioneer. An Essex girl who always dreamed of being an astronaut is helping plan the first moon landing in 50 years. Sean Cleaver, 32, hopes the 2025 lunar mission, which involves setting up a base there, will eventually lead to a trip to Mars. Skipping back to page 2, they've got a picture of a child holding a Kalashnikov. Is it a wooden replica? Yeah, children get to grips with guns as they prepare to defend their country from a looming invasion threat. Absolutely, fully, could not be more propaganda. Use of Weapons says more channels should have historical impersonators, not Germany. The Burnzoid, I suppose there's a good research paper on heroes of the respectable centre-right. Mark Gnosis, was that Ann Diamond from Cot Death Awareness? Ann Diamond, it was indeed. Moving on pages 4 and 5, more coverage of the Greenwood story, of course, phrased in the typically unpleasant, empathetic Sun way. Man U and England ace in rape and assault quiz. Swoop over woman's claims. Shock video led to arrest. C122, H122 says GB News should do Stalin. The cowards should do Stalin. Who is producing this pro-Ukraine propaganda? Yeah, Strang, I think that's actually one of the guns the US sent over, which is cool. Love to arm children. Good afternoon, Slinkermeyer, how you doing? Quiz, I know, one of them, just the most horrific tabloid phrasing. The Atlantic Council and the CIA, Cronus says, Gonzo Socialism. On page 6, £600 a year energy hike for £22 million 22 million homes. Jesus Christ. Daniela Westbrook has fired a legal warning to the BBC after her EastEnders character Sam Mitchell was recast. 48-year-old played the role in the 90s, but was replaced by Kim Metcalf in 2002. Yesterday, we revealed Kim, 48, is to revive the role, but Danny told the BBC, my legal team will be in touch. She can get her legal team in touch as much as she likes, but she doesn't own the character. Adele of a Ding Dong, big to save, rich relationship, follows shouting on phone. Adele has spent the past week holed up at her boyfriend's home trying to save their relationship after a time apart hugely strained it, claim sources. C122H122 says the Keith tweet about Bloody Sunday annoyed me. Unfolded. Yeah, I know, unfolded. Just as if it was just a, meteorological event. White 24/7. The attempt at a BLM link is Ali Wa, but of course they do that. With the Greenwood thing. Already seen people say Greenwood's situation shows how evil BLM is because he's put fuck off. Horrific. On page 8, £1 million tax burden. What average household pays over their lifetime. Hard-working households are paying more than £1 million in tax over their lifetime, researchers claim. The £1.1 million figure is from a combined income of £60,000 over 40 years work and 15 years retirement. What the fuck? Well, she's shouting. She's Adele. She just has massive lungs, says Mark. On page 9, exclusive, no new Beijing moles. Agents infiltrated charity set up by Prince Philip. Did they? This weird anti-China, stuff in here. 15 years retirement. That's just the Burnzoid, yeah. On page 11, Davina McCall wearing underwear for some reason. Oh, it's because she's an exercise-loving telly star. Trevor Kavanagh says, sorry, PM, we don't trust you anymore. Also on page 11, Beeb's woke opera. It's BBC gone mad. Beeb bosses are hoping to create a woke soap to reflect modern Britain. Guarantee this doesn't exist. BBC Three controller Fiona Campbell revealed her ambition as the service returns from online only to return to regular channels from tomorrow. But a third of people already believe the BBC is too woke. Fiona said the soap might be set far from London and recruit cast and writers from social media. She said, what would it look like? It would be somewhere very specific in modern Britain, Derry or Belfast, Aberdeen or Newcastle. I want to showcase a locality in all its glory. I'd like to perform a platform for the cast of the future. You can see how many stars come from early EastEnders. Fiona said the soap would reflect the channel's focus on how tough it is to be in your teens and early 20s today. So she didn't say anything about it being woke. Not at all. Mark Canosi says, gotta respect Davina McCall's power. She's been a MILF since her late 20s. The Burnzoid. Someone will have floated the idea of, yeah, exactly. She just said, oh, I might set a soap opera not in London. That's it. That is it. Fuck me. On page 13, Britain lashed by Corrie. Killer storms to hit 90 miles per hour. The Sun, of course, and all tabloids love a killer storm. Battlewist, thank you for resubscribing. Much appreciated. After that, Kai Kiss, Strictly Star on her Lifes and Loves. They call me a seductress, but I'm a completely normal woman, says Nadia Bichkova. Completely normal woman. On page 16, the home front. Russians' London pads face grab if Vlad invades. Luxury London mansions owned by Kremlin billionaires face being seized if Russia invades Ukraine, Liz Truss warned. Guarantee that doesn't happen, given that the Conservative Party is heavily funded by Russian donors. Mark Cadosis, seductresses can be normal women. In fact, in the medieval era, can we just seize them anywhere, says Strang. Yeah, Slinker completely normal woman sounds like something a reptilian would say. Currently, unfortunately, she's a normal island currently on a normal woman currently on the normal island, says the Burnzoid. I would simply seize more property, says Use of Weapons. Yes, expropriate is the word of the day. Oh, God. DNA could solve Billy Joe killing. Review after 25 years. The Sun loves a cold case story. Rachel Stevens was on Dancing on Ice. Boxing champs, £1,500 bed range. Tyson Fury is planning to knock people on their backs by designing a range of beds and sofas. Really. C122H122 wants Chelsea to be seized by Liz Truss and her tank. Woke counsel to kids, you're not racially innocent. A woke counsellor sparked fury by indoctrinating school children with anti-racism classes. This is Britain. We expect our children to be racist. A woke counsellor sparked fury by indoctrinating children with anti-racism classes. People as young as 7 will be educated about white privilege. Kids are to be taught that they are not racially innocent because they view white as top of the hierarchy. Brighton and Hove's Green-dominated council is introducing widely disputed critical race theory into its school curriculum. Oh, fuck off. White kids do have original sin, so yes, there's use of weapons. Fuck's sake. On page 25, bunch of cocaine nuts. Police seize nearly 20,000 coconuts filled with liquid cocaine. They were discovered in bags on a container at the Colombian port of Cartagena. I love this when the Sun does this. Like, does a story where you think, could this be in the UK? No, it's not. It's fucking Colombia. CRT is about law. It's so specific in its meaning, totally warped. Guarantee it's not CRT, says Burnside. Yeah, they've just taken it from America, the way the use of that phrase just willy-nilly. CRT has become like woke has become. Just, you know. If he didn't want to be hated, Adam shouldn't have eaten that apple like a stupid white guy. Mark Zosis, it's good to see the CRT panic settling in nicely over here. Yep, they've seen that it worked so well in the US. In the goals supplement, Derby 2, Birmingham 2. I told Rousseau, Mystic Wayne foresees comeback as Bielik hits stunner after year out. Doctor, author, comedian Adam Kay on new BBC show on his life. Nothing ever gives you a buzz like saving lives, but I'm very glad my gynecological Kinder Egg story is going on TV. I wish you weren't doing Press in the Sun, Adam, to be honest with you, mate. In TV reviews, they reviewed Trigger Point. They didn't really like it. And in the recommendations for the TV from The Sun today, great cookbook challenge with Jamie Oliver, 8 p.m. The Teacher, Channel 5, 9 p.m. Janet Jackson, a documentary on Sky Documentaries at 9 p.m. And Race and Medical Experiments, What's the Truth, Channel 4, 10 p.m. Yeah, his book was good, but get out of the Sun, says Burnside. Use of weapons. City get battered everywhere they go. Birmingham shitty in the mud, says use of weapons. Thank you for redeeming hydrate, Fluff Weasel. Ask Dr. Zoe. Here's some questions that Dr. Zoe gets asked today. I can't get it up. I'm gone off sex. What's wrong with me? She says, I get men coming in with erectile dysfunction regularly. Not all of them call it that, but some tell me they can't get it up or use the word impotent. It can be caused by stress, anxiety, tiredness, or drinking too much booze. I'm getting to that age. How will I know when menopause has started? Can I go on the pill without telling parents? What is this painful rash that started to weep? Don't write into the Sun. Go to a doctor. Just go to your doctor. How do I know which contraception is best? My head is throbbing. Is it a brain tumour? Fuck. Honestly, I cannot. Go to the doctor. Do not write into the Sun. This is the answer. Right, time for Dear Deirdre. I dislike my pal's on-off new man. Well, just don't spend any time with him then. Hobby's X-Files. Threw up shock. My husband has been messaging an old flame who he recently learned had his only son. It's complex and tragic because the son was born 30 years ago after they had a brief fling, but he died last year in a motorbike accident before my husband had the chance to meet him. My husband and I got together soon after the fling, and he only learned about his son's existence recently when his ex got in touch. He's 52, I'm 49. We have 2 grown-up daughters of our own. Jesus Christ. Again, the Sun is not your solution here. Even the NHS website will answer some of those questions. Yeah, married just 3 months. I've already had enough. Well, you got married for all the wrong reasons. Dear Deirdre is correct. Struggled to find an older woman. I've always had a thing for older women, but I'm struggled to convince them that I'm genuine. I'm a 32-year-old man. I love the fact that older women are self-assured, confident, and tend to be great conversationalists. Oh, you've got nice guy syndrome. Bin yourself. Grandkid upset I dumped cruel hubby. My granddaughter refuses to meet my new partner because I dumped my husband. But he was violent and abusive to me for 40 years. And 2 years ago, when I was 63, I had enough strength to leave him. But my 19-year-old granddaughter refuses to meet my new partner and says she won't visit if he lives with me. Well, she needs to fucking get a grip, doesn't she? Yeah, older women lover sounds like an incel, says the Burnzoid, yeah. Page 36, it's coins, but it's a coin ad we're familiar with by now. Own the complete collection of the new United Kingdom coins today, featuring 13 2022 dated coins, including the incredibly cursed Dame Vera Lynn £2 coin. Today's £50 letter comes from a frequent correspondent to The Sun. It's Colin Grimmer of Lowestoft. It's suspicious that just as Sue Gray is ready to publish her report into parties at 10 Downing Street, the Met Police wants it delayed. As for Boris Johnson saying he didn't know some gatherings were in breach of the rules, he's the one who told us the rules, so why would he think we would have to understand them? Well, you're not wrong there, Colin, really. Fake name, fake letter, says the Burnzoid. Yeah, Colin Grimmer of the Lowestoft Grimmers. In the sport, Rory sunk McIlroy glory bid is washed up on the 18th. Long live the king. Rafa claims record crown after a marathon effort. Has striker played last game for Man United? Huge doubt over Greenwood career. No shit. Chronotherm, the Sun complaining about police Tory party collusion is the peak of irony, isn't it just? And on the back page of the sport, of course, Old Trafford shock, stay away. Greenwood is suspended by United after rape arrest. So there we go. Classically shit edition of the Sun. Quadruple negative nice from me. Mark Canosis, Royal Mint exclusive offer. The Cressida Dick 9 bob note. Gonzo Socialism says rimming is an Olympic sport in Lowestoft. The Burnzoid in with a centuple negative nice for the Sun. The Sun is so shite, says use of weapons. Fake name, fake letter. Ignorance of law has never been a defence. So why did they buy back Ronaldo, says the heiress. Well, yes, indeed. Why did they? Right, so we're going to move on to The Guardian for the speed round. A person on the sofa. Yeah, yes, indeed. Right, we're going to move on to The Guardian for the speed round. But let's do minus triple negative nice Cressida Dick's wife, says Gonzo Socialism. Planet Future, potentially being in prison would put your premiership career in doubt, I should think, unless you were planning on doing Mean Machine. C122, H122, fuck, stop talking about Mason Greenwood's career. I couldn't work in any job doing this shit. Yeah, exactly. Of course, he is innocent till proven guilty, etc., etc. I am the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. In the mod squad today, the excellent, the ever excellent SK the Crusader. In the chat today, Apple Pie Chart, Arid Tracks, Ash Flaps McNulty, Battle Whisk, Bear Pavlova, Blurst of Time, C122, H122, Chemical Chris, Dr. Fayad, Fluff Weasel, Ged Station, the excellent Ged Station, thank you for the raid, Gonzo Socialism, Heathmore 2401, Jaffer02, JG Dawn, Jujo1, Cap606, Chronotherm, Magic Dan, Mark Canosis, Pablo Bonzo, Panic Future, Rimastino, Seralna, 1727, Sly Starlin, Spike Trap Claire, Strang, Struffle Ruggian? Struggle Ruffian, the Burnzoid, the Research Arena, Use of Weapons, V&K, White 24/7, and Zoe Brings Bacon. Good to see you all. Now, for the speed round, 2 minutes through The Guardian. 2 minute run through The Guardian. Let's see how this goes. Speedy rush through it, and the time starts now. Front page of The Guardian. Well, it would help if I actually had The Guardian in front of me and not the Times. Front page of The Guardian, there's an interview with Labi Sifri, who's excellent. Roaring Twenties, raves why parties can still have the power to shock. Johnson tries to take back control amid party outrage. Catastrophe in cost of living to hit red wall. Thousands still have no power as new storm hits. And Rafael Nadal from the brink to win record 21st Grand Slam. In slide, a pianist celebrates her 97th birthday with a new album. A man who was left in immigration limbo for decades can finally stay. He deserves compensation for it, though. Rosie Duffield is threatening to leave the Labour Party. Boo-hoo. Court delays in rape offences rise to sickening 1,000 days. Red Wall Tory seats to be among the hardest hit by cost of living crisis. Well, maybe they shouldn't have voted for the leopard face-eating party. Crisis hit Johnson tries to take back control with Brexit bills and policy blitz. Cummings, it's my duty to get rid of the PM. It's like fixing the drains. Well, he is a shit. He'd know a lot about drains, wouldn't he? Harry and Meghan urge Spotify to act on anti-vaccine issue. Actor Fox takes unproven drug after contracting Lord COVID. He claims he did. I don't believe him. Up to 25,000 homes still without power as 90-mile-an-hour storm Corrie battles northern England. Northern UK, sorry. Negligence on industrial scale. Minister admits 5 billion PPE items were wasted. Doctor found guilty in civil court of killing partner's father with hard-to-detect poison. UK moves to allow sanctions on Russian banks and energy firms. Outrage at tidy up of Scottish sacred well. Trump rally supporters around groundless claims of voter fraud. John Harris says Britain's gaping disparities make it ever more feudal. Yeah, I'm sure we'll go on a poverty tour again. 50 years after Bloody Sunday, tensions are still simmering, writes Susan McKay, Irish writer and journalist whose books include Northern Protestants on Shifting Ground. In Life and Arts, Labby Sifri. And in the obituaries, Sir Crispin Tickell, Elsa Soares. Sir Crispin Tickell is a diplomat and academic who played a key role in forming British policy on the environment. And in the sport, the most unexpected win, Nadal stuns himself with epic comeback for record 21st title. That is The Guardian. C122H122 says, Rosie Duffy leaving the party. Don't threaten me with a good time. Mark Gnosis' Duffield article talks about allegations. She has moved to Wrexham. Surely a journalist could establish the truth of those allegations. Chronotherm, I showed you my gaping depravity. Please respond. Get Station, hate it when the gaping has disparity. Shaking my damn head. Jaffa 02, but that would involve them doing more than recycle briefings. Magic Dan 13, I'd love to know what John Harris's solution is. He doesn't have one. It doesn't suit him for there to be a solution. Heathmore 2401, that John Harris article's really bad. Like there's some poverty porn stories and absolutely no systemic analysis. Mark Canosis says Rosie Duffy is the worst Labour MP since Mosley. I hate when I want to scroll up to read previous chats. Anyway, other stuff in there. Right, so that was Guardian. I don't know, you can give me a score if you want, but it was bad in its own special way. Now we're going to move on to the Times. Right, front page of the Times. Enjoy your newspaper for less than £1.20 a day. It would have to be a lot cheaper to enjoy it. How to escape from modern life. There's various ways. Top of the shop. Oligarchs linked to Kremlin faith crack down on British wealth. I don't believe you. Ged Station rates The Guardian as liberal piss out of 10. Really good to have you here for the live show, Ged. Ratiology, The Median. Burglars go unpunished as just 5% of cases solved. Police success rate nearly halves in 7 years. I wonder why that might be. On the right-hand side, number 10 under attack from ex-aide over party scandal. This is a classic newspaper shit, right? It's under attack in an article in the Times. The Burnsley said you need to pay me significantly more than £1.20 a day to enjoy the Times. Enjoy your newspaper by using it to redacted. Get Station live show rather than leaving you odd YouTube comments at 4am. Well, I do like the odd YouTube comments at 4am too. Burnsley says, I don't actually know anyone who has been helped by the policy. Right, on page 2, levelling up plans target rogue landlords in the private sector. They're all rogue. On page 3, basically, there's been a study into, when you see faces in things, people generally see male faces rather than female faces. There's a good Pepper that looks like Richard Nixon. Fuck landlords, Slinkermeyer. C122H122 says, almost like cops are useless regardless of the crime. Yep. New sanctions will let Britain hit Russia where it really hurts. In the balls. On page 5, England star arrested over claims of rape and assault is the way they cover that story. 1 in 3 darknet cocaine deals take place in Britain. Where does this claim come from? Well, it comes from the National Crime Agency, an agency that has it, which is in the interests of to say things like that. So its budget is increased. Mark notices, I mostly just see the face of Morph, who has, as we all know, has transcended gender. The heiress, rogue landlord, actually provides decent housing for below market rates. Yeah, that would be going rogue. Party police may never reveal Downing Street lawbreakers. No shit. Meanwhile, the former number 10 aide, who is launched the attack, talked about on the front page, is Nikki DaCosta, former Director of Legislative Affairs at Number 10 under Theresa May and Boris Johnson, who says, Number 10 failed us when we needed our leaders most. Almost like she's just trying to distance herself from an administration of which she was part until recently. On page 8, compensation for passengers if domestic flight is delayed an hour. How about you just improve the trains so we don't have to have so many fucking domestic flights? On page 9, Queen's Jubilee advisor faces bullying claims after staff quit. No, surely not. Not bullying within the royal family. Jo Kendall, star of BBC radio comedy, has died at age 83. She was featured in shows such as I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again, and I'm Sorry, I Haven't a Clue. C122, H122, I want Boris Johnson to kick Putin in the balls and call it quits. Blurs the Times, can't wait for the Sue Gray report to come out later and absolutely destroy the government. AKA, fuck all. Yeah, 3:30 for a statement from Boris Johnson where he will tell us he did nothing wrong and it was all someone else to blame and he sacked someone you've never heard of. On page 10, vaccination program moves to vulnerable children aged 5 to 11. Fine, good. Page 11, seaside town tops property hotspot list as young blood moves in. Or, AKA, seaside town increasingly reaches a point where people who actually grew up there cannot afford to live there. The number of properties in Bexhill-on-Sea, where the average asking price is $342,265, have jumped by 88% in a year, while the average asking price is 30% higher. This is not good. This is bad. This is bad. The way that newspapers report on house prices is so fucked up. Counter-terror police will protect ferry passengers. Armed counter-terrorism officers are being deployed on British ferries for the first time this summer, the Times has learnt. Firearms police from the Civil Nuclear Constabulary, which, by the way, was the constabulary that the killer of Sarah Everard worked for before he was transferred to the Met, will be posted on cross-channel ferries from Dover and on passenger ships between Newcastle and the Netherlands. While there's no known plot against British ferries, a senior counter-terrorism source said they were seen as extremely vulnerable. Fuck me. Did you see that stuff about Boris Johnson leaving highly classified documents lie around? Seems like a bigger deal. You'd think so, wouldn't you? C122, H122, just a few bad apples. House and home ownership in the UK has been fetishised by data harvesting apps. Yeah. Blurst of Times. Armed counter-terrorism police in the streets make me feel anything other than safe. Me too. Giant lorry park plan to ease border traffic chaos. Just turn the whole of fucking Kent into a giant lorry park. Neighbourhood Watch finds faith in the police falling. Parents take school and police to court over bullied girl's suicide. Horrendous story. Mr. Loophole warns drivers on new rules. Cyclists have accused drivers of being ignorant of the changes to the highway code which permit them to ride in the middle of the lane. Nick Freeman, the solicitor known as Mr. Loophole, said that many motorists were unaware of the changes. Concrete over Kent's is gonzo socialism. Chronotherm says the last person I heard suggesting we tarmac over Kent was Ian Dunn. I think we should tarmac the entire country. The Burnswood, again, when has a counter-terrorism officer ever stopped anyone other than just to hassle them for no reason? Jaffa 02, have to walk past armed police every day. It fucking sucks. Mark Clay's going to get knuckle tattoos saying pave Kent. Labour MP threatens to quit over trans row abuse. Of course, the Times frames it that way because of course they will. Radiohead duo find new groove to raise a smile. That's The Smile, which is Tom York and Johnny Greenwood with the jazz drummer Tom Skinner. They did a gig over the weekend, 3 gigs in fact, and an 8 p.m, a 1 a.m, and an 11 a.m. gig. In order that their live stream was really live in 3 time zones. They put out 2 songs so far, which I quite like. Tory investigated for not declaring drug firm job. Birmingham 6 police use terror act against writer. Yeah, the Birmingham 6 police, the West Midlands police, are going after Chris Mullin in an attempt to try and get him to give up his sources from his book Error of Judgment, which helped free the Birmingham Six, and they're trying to find the last surviving member of the IRA active unit. In that case, he is saying he's not going to do that because he has a duty to protect his sources, which is a correct and right thing to do. Yeah, did that event unfold, assholes? Says C122H122. Jaffer02, Transrail. Christ, they're desperate to frame it as a both sides thing. Yeah. Yeah, fuck off, says Slankamaya. Agreed. C122H122 is someone who grew up in Northern Ireland. Armed cops, not a good idea. Often saw tanks on streets. It was scary. Yeah, person in the room would agree with you on that one. Young bounce back into work after lockdowns. Youth unemployment is now at lower levels than before the pandemic. A report by the Resolution Foundation said. Yeah, right, okay. Nando's has a duty to protect its sources, says Gonzo Socialism. People always forget the UK has always had armed cops, says the Burnzoid. Yes. The widow of the MP, James Brokenshire, has called for a national screening programme for lung cancer after his death at the age of 53. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The Burnzoid, I say UK lightly. Yeah, fair enough. Here is a really nice picture of a little girl hanging out with a... is it a sheep? Yeah, a little sheep. Which is kind of cute. Unfortunately, the sheep the lamb is called Jubilee to mark the Queen's 70th birthday. Why must monarchy ruin everything? Mark Canosi says the UK needs more armed criminals. Soups and shakes help patients beat diabetes. The NHS is rolling out a soups and shakes diet after people in its pilot scheme lost 2 stone in 3 months with meal replacement products. Suspicious of this. It's just I'm sure that there is some sort of private company that they're using for that, and I'm sure also that it's a money-saving thing more than anything. Chronotherm, pretend it's named after Jubilee, the X-Men character. Way better. Gonzo Socialism wants us to bring back the Sweeney. Burnzoid, no, eat the royal sheep along with the rich. Slinkamai, smells like fat phobia to me. Yeah, a lot of that. Eating disorders in a tin, says Ged Station. Yeah. God, Mark Tosa says, thought you were going to say, unfortunately, the sheep has to be euthanized. Great Shorty, generally looking into where I can flee as a refugee if the government brings in anti-trans laws. But sure, kick off about a politician threatening to quit her party and get a profitable job as a columnist. Yes. Yeah. Should be on Times Radio within the week. Whatever Gray says, mine's already made up, writes James Kirkup, a man so lacking in chin that it's like he's melting into his own neck. Though this, luckily, that does mean the paper features a great great quartet of words this week. Claire Fogus is away. Edward Lucas says Britain has become addicted to dirty money. Oh, why might that be? Helen Rumbelow says all these rules have killed my wanderlust. Fucking privileged to have any wanderlust. Rachel Sylvester says forget mayors, level up our educational divide. Too many children in England are all but written off at 16, but those outcomes could be predicted from the age of 5. I'm very suspicious of the Times, what the Times is up to with its Education Commission. In the birthdays today, Philip Glass is 85. Happy birthday to him. Daniela Bianchi, the actress who was in From Russia with Love, is 80. Princess Beatrix, the Queen of the Netherlands until 2013, is 84. Sir George Benjamin, the classical composer, Ringed by the Flat Horizon, one of his pieces, is 62. Lord Michael Bichard, the chairman of the National Audit Office till 2021 and the Design Council till 2011, is 75. Deborah Bronnett, the UK ambassador to Russia, is 55. Amelia Bullimore, the playwright and actress, is 58. Lloyd Cole, singer-songwriter, known for being the frontman of Lloyd Cole and the Commotions, is 61. Portia de Rossi, the actress, is 49. Imtiaz Dharka, the poet, is 68. Minnie Driver, the actress, 52. Megan Ellison, film producer known for American Hustle, is 36. Dexter Fletcher is 56. Baroness Brenda Hale of Richmond, President of the Supreme Court till 2020, is 77. Patrick Kilty, the presenter of The One Show until 2018, is 51. Beverly Gillian, the Chief Executive of the Mothers Union, is 64. John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten, is 66. Phil Manzera Manzanera, the guitarist in Roxy Music and a producer, is 71. The Most Reverend Barry Morgan, the Judicial Appointments Commissioner and Archbishop of Wales until 2017, 75. Sophie Muller, the music video director, is 60. Marcus Mumford, who is fucking Marcus Mumford, is only 35. What? Crispin O'Day, the hedge fund manager and just despicable human, is 63. Kenzaburo Oe, the writer and Nobel Prize winner in 1994, is 87. Justin Timberlake, who is Justin Timberlake, is 41. Laura Tomlinson, the British dressage rider, Olympic gold medalist, is 37. And Kerry Washington, the actress, is 45. Boo to John Lydon, says the Burnzoid. Yes, Helen Rumbelows, is this Brassite? C1 22H22. Fuck Rumbelow after the podcasting's praxis episode. Yeah, do listen to that episode that I was on where we went through that Helen Rumbelow article. The buttery Tory, John Lydon. My friend went to uni with Marcus Mumford. He was cunt then. Frugulus loved the ideology behind who gets a birthday announcement or obituary. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Right, in the world news, New York sliding back to the bad old days of violence. In France, wedding killer threw my little girl away like rubbish. Mother, an 8-year-old girl abducted and murdered during a wedding reception, has denounced her killer as a monster and said he disposed of the body like a piece of rubbish. Jesus Christ. The leading German dictionary has prompted heated debate about the word Jew by updating its definition to suggest that the term can be felt to be discriminatory because of the way it was once used in Nazi propaganda. The online edition of Duden, one of the standard reference works for the German language, now suggests using alternative phrases such as Jewish fellow citizens or people of Jewish faith to not be sure of not causing offence. The changes revived a long-running controversy about the status of the male words Jude and Judin, male and female, of the German words Jude and Judin, male and female Jew. The terms feature prominently in the anti-Semitic tropes of the Third Reich and other far-right movements of the early 20th century. For many native German speakers, including those in Jewish communities, the legacy continues to tarnish the words, despite the three-quarters of a century that have passed since the downfall of the Nazi regime. Heinz Galinsky and Charlotte Knobloch, both Holocaust survivors and former presidents of the Central Council of Jews in Germany, pointedly avoided using the words, preferring to say Jewish people. The word Judah doesn't just mean Jew, Ronan Steicher, a German Jew, wrote in a recent guide to anti-Semitism. For a long time, the word was functionally a pejorative detached from real Jewish religion or origins. However, others argue that there's nothing inherently wrong with the word. Several Jewish writers castigated Duden for adding the special pointer to its definition, especially since it appears to have been inserted in the same week as the International Holocaust Remembrance Day last Thursday. I'm shocked, Levi Israel Ufilj, a trainee rabbi, wrote on Twitter, as long as Jews themselves don't feel the word is discriminatory, it's not. All it is really about is satisfying the discomfort of non-Jewish German speakers. Duden said it was aware of the complexity of the debate and would take a close look at the new wording. Nice news from the US, where Elmer and Lima, two male Humboldt penguins in a same-sex relationship, successfully hatched an adopted chick from an egg. Ted Fox, the zoo director in Syracuse, New York, said not all penguin pairs are good at incubating eggs, but Elmer and Lima were exemplary in every aspect of egg care. Well done, Elmer and Lima. Rachel Schulte is using Nazi terminology bad. The debate in full, the Times. White 24/7. I mean, that's similar to using English now. Like, it's hard to qualify, but there's uses which would sound malicious depending on context. Yeah. Burnsley said it's harder in German because you always sound angry. Absolutely. Absolutely a fan of the gay penguins. Elmer and Lima, good on you, boys. On page 32, more weird propaganda with civilian volunteers in Kiev practicing with wooden rifles as they attend basic military training, ready to resist if Russian troops amassed at the border cross in. Sly Stalin says, I don't mind being called a Jew. Heathenmore 2401 says, pro-queer penguin scream. Were the Penguins ambushed by cake? Who knows? I failed to be ambushed by cake during my birthday. I knew the cake was coming, and there it was. Are they LARPing? They're pretty much LARPing, yeah. US mother of 5 led ISIS wives defending Raqqa. A mother of 5 from Kansas has been returned to the US to face charges of leading an all-female Islamic State battalion formed for a final battle to defend the city of Raqqa in Syria. Alison Fluke Ekren, 42, will appear in US court today. She faced claims she headed a unit called Katiba Nusayba in the city regarded as the capital of the so-called caliphate and planned an attack on a US university campus using a backpack filled with explosives, according to the FBI. According to the FBI, we know could be entirely made up. Mark Kanosis, are they gearing up for civilian casualties that turn out to be citizen militias? This is fucked up, isn't it? Slice Stalin. Russia moves troops inside its own territory. This is a crisis. Yeah. Page 34, Spider-Man of the Ice trapped after avalanche in the Andes. Hopes of saving a renowned Italian climber dubbed the Spider-Man of the Ice, who was trapped and injured on a mountain in Argentina, faded last night after bad weather forced the suspension of rescue efforts. Corrado Coropeche, 40, was descending from the 3,128-meter peak of the Cerro Torre in the Andes with Thomas Aguilo of Argentina at about 4 a.m. on Friday when they were hit by an avalanche of snow and rocks. Jesus. Right, in the Times 2, keep your e-scooter. I've got these two and a plough. Fuck you, Mitsubishi. I've got 2 horses and a plough outside. Anyway, the new movement to escape modern life. This stuff always has slightly fascio overtones, doesn't it? There's a vogue for learning old skills from ploughing to blacksmithing. Come the global meltdown, Kevin Mara will be set. You're changing steel in the same way that the Vikings were. A little bit. Blurst of Time says, all power to the girl boss Caliphate. The heiress wants to know where are the Avengers in all this. Sly Starlin, horse people are fucking weird. The Burns are not sure ploughs are allowed on UK roads. C122, H122, this is always middle class families things. Mark Canosis, learning old skills such as crucifixion. Heatmore 2401, the fashion stuff really is frustrating because I like traditional crafts. Very reactionary, says Frujas. Sex, money, and the Bard set off Wall Street feud. 2 founders of Apollo Global Management have set the scene for a jaw-dropping legal fight. Leon Black, until last year, one of the most powerful executives in American finance, has cast aside the playbook. In an extraordinary declaration of war, he accused his former right-hand man of orchestrating an elaborate Shakespearean plot to destroy him. Josh Harris assembled a veritable war cabinet of advisors to ensure his defenestration, according to Black, after missing out on promotion. The allegations made in court filings have been dismissed by the spokesman for Harris, a co-owner of Crystal Palace FC, as unhinged. A decades-long professional partnership which helped to build Apollo Global Management into one of the world's largest alternative asset managers has been reduced to rubble. Black 70 had faced growing controversy over his former ties with Jeffrey Epstein. So there you go. C122, H122 says expect a Martin Scorsese movie about this in 2 years. Throw people out of windows, his use of weapons. Yeah, the top one of the top causes of death in Moscow. Paul Johnson, helping the poor is easy, Chancellor. Everyone else may just have to suffer. He is, of course, the director of the Institute for Fiscal Studies. Johnson, there it is, says Jaffa 02. Johnson leads talks to boost London's technology float. Shut up. The head of risk at the Bank of England says you should tread carefully with crypto. Snoop's time has come and it isn't in the business of making peanuts. Dame Jane Ann Gatter has big ambitions for her latest adventure. Snoop. What is Snoop? A personal finance app that uses artificial intelligence and human expertise to find ways to save households £1,500 a year. Rachel, thank God for the rational, non-emotional men running the world economy. Sadly, it's not Snoop Dogg, says Use of Weapons. Does sound like that'll be a TF episode, the asset management one. Yeah, I'd say so. London is the world centre of money laundering and tax avoidance. It is. Snoop Dogg may have an issue with this, yeah, I'd say so. Phil Harvey, self-styled Robin Hood of sex, whose profits from the pleasures of the rich provided contraception for the poor, has died. He was 83. Phil Harvey styled himself as the Robin Hood of sex, profiting from the carnal pleasures of the rich to help the poor in developing countries. To that end, the litigious libertarian built up the largest online distributor of sex toys and erotic films in the US, while at the same time becoming one of the largest providers of condoms and abortion services to the developing world. I was taken with the idea that I could sell sexual accoutrements to relatively wealthy Americans and use the profits to support family planning in developing countries, Harvey, a serious cerebral man, told Mother Jones in 2002. Like the outlaw of Sherwood Forest, Harvey was not popular with authorities, especially with Republican presidents and socially conservative and pro-life agendas. However, profits from his company, Adam and Eve, ensured that Harvey and his associates could continue providing condoms in countries where AIDS was spreading fast, despite having his programs effectively defunded over the years by Ronald Reagan, George Bush, George H.W. Bush, George Bush, and Donald Trump. To this day, Harvey's non-profit organization, DKT International, named after his friend, the Italian family planning pioneer Deep Kumar Tyagi, distributes more than 1 billion condoms and oral contraceptives in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Harvey's methods were controversial because those who believed that it was the role of medical professionals to promote and distribute methods of birth control. His philosophy was to create markets that would embed condoms into local economy and culture. He believed that customers were more likely to use condoms if they had to pay for them. To that end, he would be found talking earnestly to street merchants in Vietnam and India who was selling his condoms for a few pennies alongside aspirins and Coca-Cola. Harvey would enlist the help of traditional healers and medicine men to evangelize on the link between condoms and protection from AIDS. Such people would be incentivized with consignments of contraceptives to sell at a profit. He reported that as part of the program in Bangladesh, condom use more than quadrupled. In Ethiopia, he sold millions of condoms to the army for a nominal sum. Thereafter, Ethiopian soldiers were required to carry a condom whenever they left base. The army's HIV infection rate dropped to 5% in contrast to 30 or 40% rates in many African armies. It's an interesting story. The Burnzoid sounds like a decent bloke waiting for something bad to come out. Mark Kenosis, family planning in developing countries not without its issues. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting obit. I didn't know that background to Adam and Eve. Kevin Billington, the prolific director who walked across film, television and theatre, including collaborations with his brother-in-law Harold Pinter, has died. He was 87. And Sergei Tolstoy, flirtatious great-grandson of Leo Tolstoy, flirtatious, an erstwhile homeless count whose life was overshadowed by his gambling addiction. In the sport, McElroy Horror Show plays into Hovland hands. Thriller proves it's time for a change. Australia women versus England women. Comes across as a white saviour a little bit. So C122, H122, yeah. Nadal's greatest triumph. 35-year-old battles back to win epic Australian Open final and record 21st Grand Slam title. And of course, Greenwood arrested over rape claim. That is the Times. Flirtatious, i.e. sex pest. Yeah, Magic Dan. Few things more Russian than an erstwhile homeless count with a drinking problem. Yeah, pretty much. Right, give me your scores for the Times if you so wish. Let's get our final paper of the day up and in the slot. There we go. It's the Daily Mail, of course. Quadruple negative nice from the Burnzoid for the Times. Top of the shop at the Daily Mail. Fitness tricks that could help beat the need for HRT. Oh, really? Use of weapons. Minus 700 drunk Russian nobles crying about Lenin, the aorist. Minus no coins. Quadruple negative nice from Slinkenmeyer for the Times. Mark Canonis. Minus negative nice. Foreskin sold to Bill Gates to fund malaria vaccines. Right, front page of the Daily Mail. Boris, we will go faster on Brexit freedoms. In bid to move on from Partygate, PM pledges to slash red tape, boost trade, and says the EU can't hold us back. Oh, fuck off. And of course, on the right-hand side, will England star rape arrest be football's Me Too moment? Jesus. Inside the paper, not bad for an old guy. Rafa's Grand Slam record at 35. I am, of course, 3 years older than Rafa Nadal and have achieved nothing in my life. Treasury in apart from getting married to my wife, who's excellent. Treasury in storm over claim it sank COVID fraud probe. Truss warns Putin Ukraine will be quagmire for Russia. Presumably she did that from the back of a tank. The Burnzoid, slash red tape and actually make it harder to export-import. Freedoms for who? Not us. C122, H122. Have you subscribed for the Coins Mag on Friday? No, I have not. Slegmaier, he's really just throwing everything at the wall to see what makes him popular again. Yeah, pretty much, and doing what the papers want him to do. On page 5, Harry and Meghan, we won't hand back Spotify millions over anti-vax podcast row. Yeah, and why would they? On page 6, EU needs us to be strong and prosperous, says PM. Oh, shut up. And Boris Johnson has a full-page op-ed in the Daily Mail today. Brexit helped us bounce back from COVID. Now we'll go faster with our freedoms. What the fuck does that even mean? C122, H122 says, I'm 28 and never achieved anything. Well, you got time. You've got time. On pages 8 and 9, Tory anger as PM confirms tax rise. Jason Groves, the political editor, says, has Rishi brought Boris to heel, or is Downing Street dogfight set to continue? This just because he was pictured walking his dog. How convenient, okay? The Burnzoid, don't say that, Mick. You managed to boil all the wrong people's piss, which is a great achievement. Rachel, you reminded me the Fall was a thing, and I've been listening to them since. That's something. Well, I'm glad. Yes. Gonzo Socialism, his name is Alexander Whiff Waff Spaffmaster Shagyetti, not Boris. We bounced back quicker from COVID by killing all the vulnerable people, says Chronotown. Yeah, incredible scenes. Moving on.
I've got a meeting in 8 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'll get through it. My plot to ask PM, it's like fixing the drains, says Dominic Cummings. Course, the Daily Mail finds very racialised pictures to do its Greenwood coverage. From Tom Leonard in New York, the black academic who's thrown an intellectual grenade into the cult of wokeness. That's John McWhorter. What really happens to all your online shopping returns? Nothing good. Hitler Youth claims that hangover Farage's school days. Fellow pupils at his elite school call the future political star making a host of vile racist taunts. He says the stories are ridiculous. Read the final part of our fascinating series and decide who's right. And there he is, dressed up in a little military uniform. Right, today, January 31st, 2022, from the Daily Mail archive in 1970. Some banks are being forced to issue 10 shilling notes because the new 50p pieces, widely disliked when first issued, are now so popular that there is a shortage of them. The old notes are still legal tender. January 31st, 2003. Tony Blair today will urge George Bush to seek explicit United Nations backing before attacking Iraq. And that worked out well, didn't it? Happy birthday to Philip Glass, 85, Dexter Fletcher, 56. Born on this day, 1921, Carol Channing, the US actress who made her name on Broadway in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and Sir Christopher Chataway, 1931. The London-born athlete was a pacemaker when Roger Bannister ran the first sub-4-minute mile. Quote of the day comes from Matsu Bash. Days and months are travellers of eternity, so are years that pass by. Joke of the day. I accidentally put cornstarch in my novel. The plot thickened. Sorry about that. Right. Person in the room has a meeting at 2, so we're going to skip to the cartoons. Garfield is hanging out with Odie. In Chloe and Co, they're drinking and talking about men. And in Fred Bassett, he's out for a walk and he's met some tiny little dog. There are no poems today because it is because it's a Monday. Happy birthday, Philip Glass, even though you're shit, says Mark Canosis. John McWhorter, a straight up believer in race theory and not the critical kind, says Rachology. Right, today's birthday, today's straight to the point letters. Anna Brooks of Tapley says, Has Boris had his cake and eaten too much? V. Rose of Attleborough, Norfolk, which is literally where I grew up. If students are so upset by books, perhaps we should protect them by cancelling violent computer games. That sounds very much like someone from Attleborough. Karen Cartwright of Redditch says, Before the pandemic, I visited my daughter by train for £12 return. Now it's £36. Mick Brigstock says, Feather-bedded civil servants refusing to return to the office is a far bigger issue than Partygate. M. Howell says, A case of dog food has gone up in a month from £7.50 to £9. Fido is going on a diet. Bill Davis of Biggin Hill says, talk to a man with his hand on the gas tap or we could face another Cold War. And V. Hefter, who contributes often to these letter pages, says, how many will be attracted to Katie Price's Katie OnlyFans site? Hopefully, none. Mark Canosis, lovely. Welcome to Attleborough, birthplace of Mick Wright sign they have. Not my birthplace, actually. I was born in Norwich. Today's recipe, saffron and polenta madeleines. If you fancy a disgusting Proustian rush. And in the sport, Greenwood arrested for rape. United star accused of assaulting teenager. Rafa wins race to 21 slams in 5-hour classic. That is the Daily Mail. Give me your scores if you wish. Good poems are shit, says Use of Weapons. 3 minutes to 2. And that brings us to the close of today's show. Thank you for joining me for the Monday show. Thank you for Ged Station for tuning in person and for the raid. Thank you to everyone else for joining me as ever. Jaffa 02, they can absolutely do one. I, civil servant, went into the office last week and immediately was told someone had COVID and was in the office yesterday, so I had to leave. Burnzoid, sex tuple negative nice for the Daily Mail. 1 million negative nice from Use of Weapons. Negative nice HRT fitness drinks is Gonzo Socialism. Cheers Heathmore, cheers Zoe drinks bacon. See you Gonzo. Cheers Mark. Thanks Geds. Should be a regular Monday thing. Fantastic. Thanks a lot Slice Darling. Appreciate it. Quadruple negative nice, +1 for no poems, says the ARS. Rich Shulgi, I once heard Norfolk described as the place London police officers retire to when they can't afford to move to South Africa. Yes, fact. Right, see you all tomorrow. This, of course, will be up on YouTube later if you've missed anything. And do like, subscribe, and comment if you're watching it there. Bye-bye.